Company. It's over, Sparkly Puff. I have the high ground. Pixel, do you know what the high ground means? Well, this is awkward. One of us has obviously had a growth spurt. If you've ever played XCOM but wanted harder to pronounce names, Star Wars Zero Company has you covered. Releasing August 27th, Star Wars Zero Company is a turn-based tactical strategy game set during the Clone Wars, where you command an elite squad assembled from across the galaxy. Instead of controlling infamous heroes, you're building your own team of unknown specialists, clone commandos, Mandalorians, Jedi, sharpshooters, and the hottest bachelors in the galaxy. But nothing in between. You're on a date with a hot little rodent and she asks you to pay the bill. How do you reply?
Oh, it depends. How big you're...
Every squad member fills a different battlefield role where positioning and ability management is paramount. Snipers attack from long range, heavier units can suppress groups of enemies, support characters heal or strengthen teammates, and your most important squad member will inevitably be some guy you named Steve. Steve will survive 16 missions. Steve will save the entire team. Steve will make Sith Lords his bitch. Between battles, you'll return to your headquarters, where you recruit new operators, upgrade equipment, research technology, and bond with your squad mates over a pint of blue milk. Tastes like grumpy sand mammoth. And with the previews recently released, Star Wars Zero Company is shaping up to be everything Star Wars and XCOM fans could have hoped for. The story, penned by the same narrative lead behind Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor, is especially promising, combining strong writing, meaningful player choices, and a fresh perspective on the Clone Wars era. The crew begins their mission during what the developers describe as a war beneath the war, a shadow conflict happening alongside the major events of the Clone Wars. That premise gives the story room to explore new characters, factions, and conspiracies while still existing within the larger Star Wars universe. You can clearly see the Andor inspiration, where grounded human stories and political maneuvering influence grander events. Perhaps the most interesting element is how the story can actually change based on your actions. Important squad members can permanently disappear from the story if they are lost during missions, while your conversations, relationships, and decisions at the team's base can affect whether characters become close allies or potentially leave the group altogether. That means Zero Company isn't just telling you a story. Your version of the story could look very different from someone else's. Combat is looking promising as well, with rock-solid XCOM-style tactical gameplay. The game features familiar strategy staples like different weapon types, half and full cover, explosives, and Overwatch. That familiar foundation is strengthened by the experience of former Firaxis developers who worked on XCOM and Marvel's Midnight Suns, one of my favorite tactical games released recently. With the Star Wars universe, there are a ton of new tactical possibilities. Jedi can manipulate enemies and set up attacks, Mandalorians bring the potential for jetpack-based mobility, and droids can launch grenades and beep at you furiously like a pissed-off trash can. The game also includes destructible environmental cover, a shared super ability meter, and backup abilities that let teammates coordinate attacks on the same target. I don't think that Zero Company is going to revolutionize turn-based tactical combat, but it's taking interesting and unique steps forward. Overall, I'm buying Zero Company because not only does it combine Star Wars and XCOM style gameplay, but it's pushing the narrative potential of the turn-based tactics genre in new and exciting ways. Bioreactor may be a new company, but its developers are experienced and ambitious. They could have settled for a watered-down Star Wars game and an XCOM skin suit, probably made a bunch of money, but instead they're taking that experience and building something uniquely new and fresh. But most importantly, clone troopers will feel right at home, missing 95% chance to hit attacks. Star Wars Zero Company launches August 27th, and I'll be streaming and doing a full review on my channel. Thanks for watching, and keep it sparkly!